Okay. Does it say we're live?
Yeah. Are we here?
Okay, yes, here we are. There's the
There.
little live button.
Okay.
There.
Yeah.
Hi,
Good.
everybody.
Hey, it's 7 o'clock Sunday. We're going to be reading a couple more chapters out of our book, In Spite of Us, a love story about second chances. But I was thinking, this is chapters 25 and 26. That puts it as 13 weeks. Have we been doing it that long? It doesn't seem like it. But the thing about it, it's about halfway through the book.
Yep.
So, yeah, hope you've enjoyed it so far. We've
And if you're just joining us tonight,
Yeah.
go back and listen to the other chapters. It'll help you to understand what's going on now.
uh-huh. And our books available on Amazon. Any bookstore can order it if they don't have it already. If you're local, you can check it out at the library.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when we get enough names for the drawing for this book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, 101 Feel Good Stories, Laughter is the Best Medicine. Okay. To be eligible for this book, all you have to do is share it on Facebook, and you don't have to be watching it now, but you can watch it some other time, and then we get enough names, we'll have another drawing.
Enough names that have shared it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Not just watching it isn't going to get it. You gotta share it. So, and oh yeah, it's my turn to read one of the reviews we've gotten on our book. This is this is a review that was on Amazon by Melody. Amazing. This book, from the very beginning, captivates you and keeps you interested in what will happen next. The stories of hope and healing are something I found very spellbinding. From beginning to end, it is a story of love and hate at times, but always love conquers. I love how they orchestrated the book in each chapter, each telling their story. Love, love, loved it. Thank you, Melody, for that nice review.
Yeah.
So,
Ready, huh?
we're ready.
Okay. Well, tonight I'm reading from chapter 25, and this is another chapter that I feel good about because it's one of the chapters that you can see hints of the hope that's to come because some of our earlier chapters you just might wonder, if we're going to like just completely poof self-destruct or something. But this chapter that I'm going to read, reading it now is kind of strange for me because it reminds me of why I love my husband. What it was that I fell in love and was attracted to him about. And interestingly, it was his love for God and his love for his children, his daughters, that really intrigued me and melted my heart. It's funny and sad when I think about what I was attracted to in other men before Sandy. And I'll be honest with you, I really don't have an answer. I don't have a clue what that was even about. I know whatever it was not healthy, maybe even blatantly destructive. So, how sweet is it that God placed this good man in my life, me, the least deserving of a good man. But God did put Sandy in my life. He did love me that much, in spite of me. And God knew I was ready, broken just right to be curious about God. So, this chapter is probably when I first begin to recognize a glimpse of God in my life. Barely. Okay. So, chapter 25. Duh, Icicle River. I fell asleep in crazy love, waking not only before the earth switched on its lights, but before Sandy, the up and atom guy. I slip out of our zipper-joined cocoon, pull on Sandy's day-old t-shirt, inside-out jeans, and flip-flops. Digging through a nest of cookies, Richard Bach's Book 1, and crumpled M&M wrappers, I grab the Benson and Hedges and Bic lighter. I roll onto my stomach, slide off the loft-style bed, and slowly open the noisy barn-style doors of the van. Sandy rolls onto his side as the door creaks, skipping 2 beats before returning to the snoring melody.
I don't snore.
I consider crawling back up for a rerun of last night, choosing time on my own instead. I follow the path we walked last night, leading down to the Wenatchee River. There's a few faint lights inside trailers, but I appear to be the only one ready to seize the rising sun. There's a path of rocks leading to a large boulder midstream, beckoning. I attempt to stuff my cigarettes in my bra and find the pack floating at my feet. Retrieving the pack, I remember a bra is not one of the 2 items I'm wearing. With the pack in my jean pocket, I prance across rocks, leading to the inviting boulder, knowing I can't fall. A rare moment of unexplained confidence, like when you toss a wad of paper knowing it will score the trash can, or raise a hand without a doubt you'll catch the ball. Lifting Sandy's t-shirt, carrying his alluring scent, I retrieve the pack, lighting a first smoke. It's chilly. The nip to my face is welcome. It's an orchestra moment. The water rushing, swirling, cresting. The sky breaking open, pink and yellow. Even the quiet plays a part in the symphony. My thoughts wander to the God discussions of late. Is God here now, watching me? I don't feel alone. Not in a creepy sense like Stalker Wayne, more like a child aware mom is on guard. God, are you here? Do you know I exist? As the sun persists, breaking through the dark, I remember that time I prayed, asking for someone to love me, really love me. What if God answered that prayer with Sandy? It's a silly thought.
No, it's not.
A God over everything and everyone chooses me from among the other ants on the sidewalk, granting my wish for love. Nice thought, but it's not logical. I choose to face life as is, eyes open. As other campers mosey down to the river, My solitude is threatened by splashing children, eyeballing and nearing my boulder. Today we're off to the races, whatever that looks like. So far I'm in. Sandy has it all planned. First night in Leavenworth, the next 3 in Skagit Valley. There's an early morning promise of another crackling hot June day. Snubbing out my forced smoke, I surrender to the young pirates and head back to our camp. Sandy meets me on the path, showered and ready for the day. By noon, the temperature is nearing 100 degrees. We're heading west on Stevens Pass alongside the Icicle River. Bare feet on the dash of the van, dressed like Sandy in cutoffs and t-shirt, I'm in a foreign land of contentment. The river looks amazing. Is there some place we can get down to it and stretch our legs?
I think after the next bend or so.
We park, climb down a steep, narrow path to a haven of celadon green water, spraying across glassy boulders, sparkling in the sun. The other 6 or so paradise seekers, basking in the sun, nod a welcome as we approach. Sandy guides me just enough for balance as we maneuver the slippery rocks. Standing side by side on a boulder built for 2, I take his hand, suggesting, "Let's jump in." He makes a funny wincing face, then nods. Like Peter Pan and Tinker Bell, we leap into the air, free, happy, in love. With the splash, our lungs deflate, defining the river's name. Like a pair of plastic fishing bobbers, we pop to the top. Shivering, we race to the car, while onlookers snicker with looks of, "Duh, Icicle River." The sun dries our clothes and thaws our bones quickly. We mosey on toward Skagit Valley, detouring whenever a yard sale sign beckons, leading us down back roads, munching windmill cookies and black licorice. We arrive at our campsite in time to set up and catch a power nap before race time. Packing ice chests, blankets, and goggles, we walk through the gates as the announcer blasts, "Welcome to the 1990 Jim Raper Memorial Dirt Cup." Sandy marches us down front to our reserved seats, the same ones he's occupied for 6 consecutive years. 5 while sober. I light a cigarette, relieved to see I'm surrounded by fellow smokers. The habit pacifies me if bored. The races don't start for an hour. I don't understand why we had to rush, but ads for homemade strawberry shortcake, donuts, and infamous Sprint burgers console fears of a long night.
I tried sitting other places, but I think this row on the aisle is the best. You can see the action on all 4 corners. When the track dries out, you'll need these goggles to keep the dirt out of your eyes,
He says, handing me a pair of bug-eyed goggles. He offers to buy me a Dirt Cup t-shirt, a sweet gesture, but they're expensive. I already splurged on a pair of vintage English riding boots we found at an antique store in Cedro-Woolley, size 8AA narrow, my size, for $20. Besides that, we scored the perfect World War II era flowered hat from the free box at an estate sale. After choosing a 1990 memorial shirt for his collection, we settle into our seats. It's 95 degrees, an anomaly for this side of the mountains. The purple silk cabbage roses on my free box hat droop from the heat as we deplete our supply of Dr. Pepper. The speakers blast 60s rock songs, for which I'm grateful. Yakima is a 2-song town. Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and Kansas City. I sweep my cigarette butts into a pile with my foot, waiting for the drivers to get done patting each other on the butt. Finally, the race starts. I can't make any sense of it. Sandy, who's winning?
What? Nobody. It's hot laps.
He explains in depth, but I quit listening. Pretty much they're pointless laps accompanied by a bunch of hoopla to rev up the crowd. After the last bunch of cars finish laps, the crowd is ready for racing, especially me. Instead, a snail speed water truck enters the track. What's he doing?
Sprinkling the track to get some moisture, keeping the dust down.
Sensing my failing patience, he leaves, returning with 2 colossal-sized strawberry shortcakes made from old-fashioned scones and fresh local berries. Content, I watch the cars line up to race. There's a hush as the winged sprint cars scrunch together in formation. A man dressed in white stands at a cage above the track holding 3 flags. When the yellow light turns green and the green flag waves, the fans inhale simultaneously. Sandy hands me goggles as the synced rumbling of the engines turns to a roar. 3 laps in, I'm blind from the dust and can't hear anything over the engine noise. Slipping on the goggles, I look where Sandy is pointing as an orange sprint car flips like a trapeze artist. I cover my head, thinking it's heading our way. Bouncing off the fence, it lands upside down on the track. Fans rush the fence to see. Pit crew men run to the car and an ambulance moves in, lights flashing. The announcer is yelling something over the loudspeaker, but no one can hear over the crowds. The car is in crumpled pieces, scattered across the track. I'm ready to leave. I hate this. It's barbarian.
Don't worry, he's okay. Sprint cars are made to do that.
The fans quiet to listen as they see the racer crawl out of the mangled car. He's out of the car, folks. Give him a hand. The driver is not only okay, but ready to do it again. Knowing he's okay, I'm ready for more. The remaining 25 cars line up in formation. Exhilarated, I take a bite of my shortcake, spitting it out, tasting the black grit of the track. Sandy laughs.
That's part of the race, sweetie.
After several yellow and red light crashes with no one hurt, adrenaline rush wins. I'm hooked on the dirt cup, peppered shortcake and all.
All right.
Well,
Yeah. Okay. Before I read my chapter, I want to talk a little bit about it. And up to this point, there's been, especially the last several weeks, there's been some gut-wrenching stuff that has happened in my past that through living through it and through writing the book opened some old wounds. But this chapter is more about having fun and doing stuff together. And some more about the races and being together. That's the big thing. And beginning of our life together. Chapter 26. Hey, rat's butt, your shoe's untied. Like most men, I want speed, loud noises, sex, and a Playboy prototype on my arm. Deb is not the centerfold type with a staple through her belly button. I wonder if the fantasy dried up in the desert of sobriety. My slam dang it, I'm head over heels in love moment happened beneath the silliest flowered hat sagging in weeping racetrack dirt. With a flower vicariously hanging in front of one eye, Deb smiles, dirt stuck in her teeth. That was it. I was a goner, ready to be committed alongside this crazy redhead. The gritty grin is a relief. It's my turn to introduce something new. Payback for a list of first times she's given me. For example, yesterday, we junked all day. Before I met Deb, I thought that meant hanging in the wrecking yard. No matter, the races had kept us up past 2 a.m. Deb is ready to tackle the sport at morning light. By 10 a.m., random stops at a dozen yard sales scored a Victorian velvet jacket, a polka dot bowl, a 100-year-old wooden screw furniture clamp, and an 1898 Adele's electricity book. After an ice chest picnic of cheese and salami, I make points with Deb, stumbling upon the town of Bellingham. 3 blocks of side-by-side antiques and thrift store. The first store we enter is named Eartha Kitty, after the cabaret star Eartha Kitt. Deb spent most of her time purring with the fattest cat I've ever seen. I hate cats. At least Eartha Kitty is employed, greeting cat-loving customers like Deb when not napping.
Look at this! Look, it's the best ever, right? Can't you see it in our bath? It makes me so happy. Don't you think it's fun?
She's holding a framed black and white photograph of 2 gymnasts, contortionists, demonstrating incredible upper and lower body strength. I'm learning that what fun means in reference to inanimate objects for Deb. I admit the funny pose in the 1920s tights are amusing. Pulling 3 crumpled dollars from the pocket of her red and blue plaid jacket, she digs deeper for the 8 pennies needed for tax. Glancing over her shoulder at me like she's buying an original Rembrandt oil painting. Priceless plunder in hand, she dances and purrs with Eartha Kitty, thanking her for the incredible find. When we walk out the door, I swear that damn cat winks at me. 2 blocks down, I find my prize in this dilapidated store called The Hobbit. Didn't have a marketing cat, but the owner looked like Bilbo Baggins' twin from The Lord of the Rings. How do you inventory this at tax time, I ask, amazed at the piles. I wasn't being rude. I was impressed. There were towers of stuff stacked and balanced from floor to ceiling. Magazines, books, toys, army jackets, pots and pans. I'm taking it in when I see it, hear it whisper, "Psst, psst, up here." Perched atop an upright underwood typewriter sits a gray Stetson fedora, identical to mine. Snagging it, I slap it alongside my leg, creating a puff of dust before placing it on Deb's head. It's a perfect fit. You think this would be a good dirt cup hat? There's no roses, but it might hold up a little better. And that's when I became the guy in that couple wearing matching hats. To think, I initiated it.
I think you're going to have to stop for just a second. There's a package coming to the door, and the dog really loves packages, so we're just going to take a moment and let this get over
He
with.
might bark again.
Right? My son told me that things like this are okay, that's what Facebook Live is supposed to be all about, is that stuff happens, life happens, so, okay.
They're gone. Okay.
He's gone.
After treasure hunting, costing a combined total of $10, I announced we're leaving for the races on time tonight. Yesterday, she thought we arrived early, unaware we were 2 hours late. Having been part of a pit crew, hanging out in the pits is a close second to the race. Now that I'm sober, I don't want to miss out. Years past, I'd pass out in the parking lot, missing most of the race. Worse yet, I was a drunk no one trusted to drive the race car. Had I been sober, well, no need thinking about that now. Today is good. Better than good. 2 gray fedoras side by side, strolling into the racetrack on time, hanging in the pit, meeting the drivers, scoping the cars. This is one time I enjoy answering Deb's excessive questions. Sprint cars are unique, constructed with a nose and top wing to keep them planted on the tracks. 850 horsepower, lightweight, 1,300 pounds of tube frame built to crash at speeds up to 120 miles an hour. They have a short open throttle lifespan of 100 miles, at which time the motor is replaced. We talk with the drivers, kick a couple of tires, laugh at a band of muddy kids sliding down the track, and make mud balls of our own. Everything is perfect. Until time trials begin, proving Deb's attention span to be less than 15 seconds. She gets wound up like one of those old tin monkeys with cymbals, chattering rat-a-tat-tat. I'm trying to record the track times in my program. She's oblivious to the pencil in my hand, the announcer, and the cars circling the track. But she knows what everyone is eating, and she's obsessed with the elderly woman's tattoos seated to our left.
Do you ever wonder about tattoos?
She asks, talking over the announcer as he reveals Jimmy Sills' time.
What if you get a tattoo when you're skinny, and then you get really fat? Will the tattoo stretch out? Or what if you get a tattoo of a flower on your breast? Will it grow a long stem when your breasts droop down to your belly?
I really don't know, I answer, wishing I knew what time Sills had made.
Bet you can't look without laughing,
She says, nodding her head to the right. I turn, seeing 2 guys wrapping saran wrap around their billed caps, preparing for the inevitable upcoming race-inspired dust storm. They're the same duo we watched run for cover last night. You think they're newbies? I asked, failing to stifle my laugh. There won't be a dust problem tonight because it rained all day. We're in for an ideal track for racing. With time trials complete, the announcer begins all the pre-race particulars. We invite you to enjoy our beer garden located at the southeast corner of the racetrack. Please remember, there's a 3-stamp limit. Those caught washing or licking off the stamp will be escorted out of the track. We're howling at the idea when I hear a familiar voice behind me. Hey, rat's butt, your shoe's untied. Secret code known by me and one other. Before I can respond, she runs off, looking over her shoulder with an impish grin.
Do you know that little girl?
There's an awkward silence as I consider the plausibility of the random kid calling me Rat's Butt story. It might have been Cindy's daughter.
Might have been. You wouldn't recognize the child you lived with for 2 years?
Yes, it is. It's Melissa. Deb is a woman of many words, but her true powers show in silence. Truth is, I don't have answers. This is really weird. I feel crowded, violated, intruded upon. This is my deal, not Cindy's. I didn't see this coming, not even yesterday when Deb said she thought she saw a woman that looked like Cindy waiting in line at the showers. I convinced us both it was only her imagination.
She's here to make you jealous, to try and get you back.
No, she just likes the races.
That's bull.
A voice booms over the loudspeaker, interrupting our brewing argument. The threat of rain canceling the race is over. A parade of trucks begins packing the track, preparing for the main events of the evening. Deb sits quietly, smoking, staring to her right where Cindy, Melissa, and some guy are seated. It hurts seeing Melissa, my little rat's butt buddy. She must be 8 years old now. I miss the kid. I didn't say goodbye or try to explain. I mean, what could I say? The first year in the relationship, not wanting to a rerun of Dustin, I avoided her. My intentions were with her mom, if ever serious, expired when I got sober. Finding my attraction for codependent women had died. Meantime, my hopes to keep distant from little Melissa failed. At first she was a convenient lab mouse for my special education trainings. You don't have to be a special ed student to enjoy the benefits of M&M therapy. What started as easy access for case study files developed into a friendship we both cherished. The green flag waves, erasing thoughts of Cindy's intrusion. I embraced the welcome rush of adrenaline as the announcer shouts over the loudspeakers. Ladies and gentlemen, stand and salute as the drivers make the final pass before the start of the 1990 Jim Raper Memorial Super Dirt Cup. Dirty Deb is down for the race and drinking soda pop without even bothering to brush dirt from the lid. It's obvious she's into the race, no longer staring at the crowd or obsessing about Cindy. Two dirty fedoras dodging dirt clumps, dusting each other off between crashes. Heaven. Jimmy Sills, a personal favorite, wins the race. He stole my heart in the 1985 Dirt Cup. Best race I've yet to experience. 50 laps from green flag to checkered, non-stop with Tim Green in the lead. Sills on his tail until the last quarter lap for a photo finish. The patient clouds give way to the waiting rain, falling on the fans as we gather our belongings. Deb lacked skill in maneuvering through crowds, allowing people to push in front of her while she says, "Excuse me," instead of aggressively weaving in and out. Because of this, we're slow getting to the van, having to wait an hour before getting out of the jammed parking lot. If Deb had been driving, we'd still be there, politely waving others by. Back at the KOA en route to the restroom, I take a detour past the campsite I'd reserved for the past 5 years. I want to settle something nagging in my head. When I reach the camp, the guy that had been with Cindy at the races is sitting out front in a camp chair, stirring the campfire with a stick. Not only has she invaded my trip, but she stole my campsite. "Hi," she says, stepping out of the camper. I nod, mumble hello, and walk on by. She's trying to get to me. She succeeded. She took my spot. The rain is seeping through my hat, and the need for the restroom is urgent. When I get back to the van, Deb is tucked into the sleeping bag. Triggered by the door, she pops up.
That must have been Cindy I saw in the shower line yesterday. Do you think she's staying here? You told me it was odd you couldn't get your usual spot.
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe. There we are, folks.
Okay, so remember to share And even if you watch this later, you don't have to watch it live. And your name, if you share this, will be put in a drawing for a free book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, 101 Feel-Good Stories.
Yep. And books available, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Target, your local bookstore, and we'll be here every Sunday night, 7 o'clock.
Okay,
Thanks
so
for being here.
you bet. See you next week.
Uh-huh.